And here we go. Oh, boy, what a real treat. This is a First Friday to stop all First Fridays. Guys are here. I saw Jarvis at availability. Coach is going to talk in a half hour. I saw Miles. Players are running around. Our pets' heads are falling off. Everything you want. Everything you want, Z. How you doing?
Cats and dogs living together. It's wonderful. It's a great time, and definitely, as I said, so much energy in the building. And, you know, it's yesterday in the evening after we got off the air, I got a chance to shake hands with Austin Hooper, who I had never – I talked to Austin Hooper 15 times, never talked to him face-to-face. Donovan Peoples-Jones, another one. All those young guys I'd never actually met in person. And so it was nice. And some of the free agents we signed a year ago. So it's great to see everybody back. I got a chance to, and we'll hear it later on today's show, got a chance to sit down with Kareem Hunt today, who has really become, really vaulted himself into the upper echelon in the Friends of CBD, because I feel like he's the one guy that we've actually talked to, and we've been in person with him the most of anybody. So it's right. There's an excitement here. There's definitely an energy here. By the way, I can confirm we were talking around it a little bit, but Baker's condition. I just saw Baker in the cafe in a sleeveless hoodie, which is always a good look. He's jacked.
Wow.
I'll say it. Jacked. Ripped.
Can you give me a little bit of a scouting report on the hoodie? Was it one that he fashioned, or did it come that way from a uniform supplier?
It looked fashioned to me. It looked like it was a home creation. I could be wrong. I didn't really see that. We talked for a brief second, and I wasn't locked in on. It wasn't like Senior Swag was walking by, and I needed to really hone in on the outfit.
No.
For the discussion.
And I'm not asking that of you. I don't need sleeveless hoodie breakdowns of Baker the way I need Senior Swag outfit breakdowns. It's very different. But I was just curious if that was a team issue or a self-starter, and my hunch was, before you even said that, it would have been a self-starter, because that is a rare look. You don't see that look.
It could have
often.
been a team issue, but I believe what I was saying is I believe he removed the sleeves as opposed to the sleeves being prefab.
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yes, he fashioned it. Yes, I believe that to be correct.
He
and
whittled
I believe
it
you
from
have
one
that
piece
without
of wood.
ever even seen it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought. This was fun. It is great to see the guys back. Z, if you would, just so that people kind of understand what today will be like, this is it. This is the start of camp. We will not have fans out here today. That's not till Friday. But in terms of today at camp at the Cross Country Mortgage campus, what exactly are we looking to see here?
First of all, the ball's not going to spike itself. What a huge B mention of the Cross Country Mortgage campus, which is where we are today. I think this is going to be – I think it's like a ramp-up here. So I'm not expecting a whole lot of speed, much. I think we're going to ramp up, and the ramping up will continue Friday. I think Friday, Saturday is kind of the official kickoff. And then next Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's the day, Gibbe. Next Tuesday will be the first padded practice, and I think that's when we're officially off to the races.
Yeah, and this is going to be so different for so many of you in terms of for lack of a better term, the importance of camp. This is a contender, kids. It's a contender. This is a team that can win the Super Bowl. It's a team that's one of the most talented in the National Football League. It's a team with those expectations. This is not I don't anticipate this being a knockdown, drag-out, survival of the fittest camp. I think this is about getting a team ready to go win a championship. My words, not any scores. You'll hear from Coach, and he can address this directly in 25 minutes in terms of what it's going to be about. But this is about getting this team primed for a 17-game schedule that with a little bit of luck, and I don't think you need much, ends with you in the playoffs and making a long run in the playoffs. We've gone over kind of the senses of urgency at a couple of positions. We've done it ad nauseum this summer. I think you know by now. It's linebacker and defensive tackle. There aren't that many jobs up for grabs. There's a lot that's already decided, so it's different from many of the camps that you've been used to previously. And by the way, that is a very, very good thing. This is a fan base, and God bless you, where the draft and training camp were like the Super Bowls. Now this year the Super Bowl is a Super Bowl, and that's the difference kind of going into this thing. I think from a mindset standpoint is this team will be judged what it does in September, not what it does next week.
Absolutely, and I'd even go further. This team's going to be judged on what it's able to do in January and into February, ultimately, because that's the privilege of the expectations. That's the talent here. And when we play my one-on-one with Kareem Hunt, which I believe is at 2:00 here, according to this beautiful rundown given to me by Gibbe, that we talked about that. We talked about he's one of the few guys that's been on a team that's had such expectations in the past when in his time in Kansas City. Also one of the few guys on the team that's been on a team that had a good offense that ran it back. They got to be in the same set there. Anybody who's played their career
that's true.
With the Browns, Odell's probably had a similar circumstance early with the Giants. Jarvis probably in some time with Miami. But anybody who's played, and Austin Hooper in Atlanta, but anybody who's played their career with the Browns, which is the vast majority of these guys, they've never had that. And so, I think they know that they've got to put in the work. And that because what they can achieve is so special and because the talent is there and they're all aware of it, that they feel that responsibility to make sure they do put in the work. And I think Kevin Stefanski, and as Kareem talked about, and I will hear from him at 1:30, I think he addresses the media, he's the same guy. Last year the first word was work. This year the first word was work. And he said it's going to be a tough training camp because this is a team that's got to go through tough. It's never easy. It's not just easy to say we're loaded and we're just going to breeze through the NFL and go, 15-2. Now that's on the table. That's possible. This team can beat anybody any week, but they're gonna need to be ready. And I think part of it is the fact that you do open the season in Kansas City. You're not easing into this season. You're going right against the best that your conference has to offer.
Yeah, and it really is the perfect opener in that sense. Is it Senior Swag?
It's a Miss K walk by. Miss K back in the building as of Monday.
Miss K
she knows
by?
It's time to go. Miss K walk by.
Oh,
a little kiss,
boy.
A little blow.
Boy.
There for her, for everybody. There it is. There she is.
Wow.
Yes.
Is there something to read into the fact that the response you had for a Miss K walkthrough was the same as the response you have for Senior Swag walkthrough?
I don't recall ever blowing
Pretty
kisses
similar.
at Senior Swag. I don't recall ever
Well,
doing
there's
that.
usually a bit of a oh boy, just a real treat.
Yeah.
Come on through. Yes, let's check out the Swacket today. There's usually
what? Bromance is a wonderful thing. I'm not afraid of it. I know you aren't. Gibbe's not.
No, it's not even that. It's the enthusiasm for both, I think, are similar. The enthusiasm for both are similar when you see them, and
different
in the office.
Similar,
anyway.
but different. That's right. Same,
very, very
different.
So,
right.
so that's where you will be today. This is the start of it. It will be fun. This is going to be a fun camp. It's going to be an incredible ride this season with your Cleveland Browns as we kick things off today with a lot of the availabilities the first time out on the field. As we get into the OBM Hot Topics, Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider of your Cleveland Browns. Have all the X's and O's for your office. You can call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. I have not seen anything bad, and we'll get to around the league where there's a lot going on in the league today. I mean, it's a pretty crazy morning in the league. But I have not seen anything from our end of things. If there were bad things in terms of guys on the PUP list or guys in COVID protocol beyond JOK, would that information be out to your knowledge now, or is that something we will hear from Coach in 15 minutes?
I would believe so. It didn't appear that, it appears that we're at full strength. Will we find out differently at 1:30? Perhaps, but that is not my expectation at this time. I know a lot of the people that you were wondering about, the Odells, the Delpits, the Greedies, the Chris Hubbards, they're good to go, and I think we'll get confirmation on that from our head coach. So I feel pretty good about where we are. JOK is the one that I know about. I don't know if the only person that I would say I'm not 100% sure on that I don't know about that maybe we'll hear more about is Tony Fields, who missed some time in the rookie minicamp and, of course, minicamp earlier this offseason with a lower leg injury. I don't know if it was foot, ankle. I think it said ankle. But so that's the only one that I am unclear on. But it seems that we're in a good spot. We would have known about COVID because that would have posted on the NFL's transaction wire around 4 o'clock yesterday, and we've seen many of those. Or if somebody had, then it happened today, obviously. if they would have gotten tested. But I don't even know, to be honest with you, I don't know what the testing cadence is for the players at this time. I believe the vaccinated players are not testing every day. And so the only ones that would be the unvaccinated players.
No, and you saw that thing that Pelissaro had last night in terms of how, the memo from the NFL to the teams in terms of how it's going to be different, the fine structure and those type of things. So this is, we've said this week, look, this is going to be a feeling out process the first couple of weeks here for everybody as we kind of work through what are still some very unique circumstances. We want to give congratulations to Browns greats, former Browns greats, Nicole Jackson, Bill Nelson. They are named to the 2021 class of Browns legends. Very, very deserving, and always cool to start camp and release some of those legends as we do so again today.
Yeah, Nicole Jackson was, everybody knows kind of he was the man in the middle of the defense from 2006 to 2013. Led the NFL in tackles with 154 in 2008. He was second in the NFL with the career high 158 in 2011. 5 times, 5 of his 7 on-field seasons, he had more than 100 tackles there. All told, 532 tackles, 8 picks, a touchdown, 5 forced fumbles. And he was just tremendous in the community. Won the Ed Block Courage Award in 2011, the Salute to Service Award 2013. Pro Football Writers of America Dino Lucarelli Good Guy Award in 2012, and the Pro Football Writers Association Joe Thomas Award as the Player of the Year also in 2012. And then Bill Nelson, quarterback for the Browns, many years ago, joined the Browns in 1968. He was a Pro Bowler in 1969 and is top 10 in Browns history in a lot of the major passing categories.
Yeah, very good. And they will be honored during a Week 3 game. The Week 3 game against Chicago will be the ceremony on that front. So congratulations to DeQuell and to Bill's family, obviously, and as he will go on posthumously, and that is very good on that front. A lot to get to. You'll hear from Coach in about 18 minutes. Coming up next, as I mentioned, a wild morning in the National Football League with some of the biggest stars kind of in the crosshairs of the media of attention, and a lot going on that front. We'll get you up to date on that. You'll hear from some of our luminaries, as we mentioned. Nathan goes one-on-one with Kareem Hunt a little bit later in the show. You'll hear from Jarvis. You'll hear from Miles. Folks, it is on. Training camp is here, and we are off and running on what I can certainly describe as a First Friday miracle edition of Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. Training camp underway today. And if you're sick and tired of your outdated kitchen, it's the perfect time to upgrade to a new modern design. At Northeast Factory Direct, cabinets include all the upgrades: solid wood, full extension drawer glides, cushion closed drawers, and doors. And right now, when you stop in, take your photo with Flat Alex for a chance to win a $500 gift card that you can put towards your new cabinetry. Just take Northeast Factory Direct on Facebook or on Instagram to be entered into the drawing. So if you're thinking about remodeling your kitchen, go to northeastfactorydirect.com and schedule your appointment today. This is a wild morning in the National Football League. And a reminder, Kevin Stefanski will be here at talking in about 15 minutes, and we will have that for you in its entirety. But, Z, we have not only the Lamar Jackson news, where he is on the COVID list in Baltimore, but we don't know the details on that other than he's tested positive. We don't, and I guess you'll know based on how long he's out. And remember, he tested positive at Thanksgiving. So This is the second one for him. But we don't know if he, vaccinated, unvaccinated, and that's a whole other conversation. But he's out in Baltimore. That much we do know. You just alerted me that Aaron Rodgers is at the podium in Green Bay going over everything. Is it a Festivus for the rest of us? Is it a true airing of grievances?
It's kind of wild. So basically, Tom Pelissero said he opened up the press conference with Rodgers, and I can't wait to hear this. So I hope we get an opportunity to do so when he's done. But basically, opened the question with, "What was this all about for you?" And Rodgers is still talking more than 5 minutes and counting. Yes, airing of the grievances, listing names of free agents that he wanted to keep that were lowballed or disrespected by the organization, people that he wanted to bring in, and it sounds like basically what he wanted was to be involved in conversations about who's going to come here and play for the Green Bay Packers because, as he said, they're coming to play with me. This is not a tourist destination. No, they don't want to come to live here and live in unbelievable Green Bay, no disrespect. They want to come play with me and win a Super Bowl, and I want to be able to be involved in these conversations about who's here and who stays and all of those things. And basically, he said they tried to throw money at me to get me to stop, and I didn't care about money. I want to be involved.
Why would they not have wanted him involved? Isn't that wild? He would not have wanted him involved. I would argue that the most attractive thing about playing for the Green Bay Packers is playing with him.
Yeah, 100%. And
you would want him involved.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is absolutely surreal.
I want to hear his
the Lamar
words.
news is a bit of a. Well, they'll be interesting. These aren't words; these are images. So you didn't see this morning, but honestly, whatever took place or is taking place in Green Bay around Aaron Rodgers is, in the words of Buford T. Justice from Smokey and the Bandit, baby stuff alongside of what happened in Houston today. So Deshaun Watson shows up, and the NFL said he's a full go. There's nothing on our end at this point. We'll continue to monitor, but he's a full go. So he shows up, and you haven't seen any of this, so I'm going to walk you through it. So pay close attention to everything I'm telling you here because it is unprecedented.
Okay.
So he shows up in a hoodie with a red number 4 jersey hanging from his shorts. He goes into, from the video that I've seen, he goes into a bubble, and then he comes out with a hoodie. The next images you see from Deshaun Watson is he's in a hoodie and he's taking snaps, as he would. If he's there, he might as well do something, right? So he's taking snaps. All right. The next images you see are him in the red number 4 jersey, right? Quarterback, don't touch me, let's go. And it's doing some stretching and these type of things. The next series of images that I see are Deshaun Watson. The red jersey is now off. He is in a hoodie, and he is the 4th quarterback going through the dummy step-over drill. Okay?
Okay.
Everyone else is going through with incredible speed and intensity, and he's kind of loafing it. Again, the 4th quarterback. If you're redrafting the NFL, you might take him second.
Okay.
And he's the 4th quarterback in Houston going through the drills. He proceeds to, after that, to be the 4th quarterback in everything. Tyrod Taylor's getting the first-team reps on everything. Watson is 4th now. Watson, at one point, Deshaun Watson catches a pass out of the backfield as a running back in a drill. A couple of minutes later, you see an image of Deshaun Watson playing defensive back in an 11-on-11. What are we doing? What are we doing? How at some point don't you either ownership or Deshaun Watson, that you have to come together and go, this is not tenable.
Well,
look, we're not going to fine you the $50K. Just don't be here.
If he's there and the NFL says he can be there, I know he wants to be traded. He wants out, but you would want him to play quarterback, I would imagine. If that's not in the cards, which it sounds like it is, and Cully said, basically that he wasn't there in the off-season program, so he couldn't get any reps at quarterback.
That's right.
That's, to me, that's the most idiotic part of it. The guy's the best quarterback you have by a wide margin, whether he was there or not. Most quarterbacks in the NFL were there for 3 days of minicamp, and that's it. That's the end of their participation in your off-season program. I'm sure he can make up those 3 days. Now, if you're having him line up at scout team safety to give you looks and say that, oh, well, this is, we don't want him to potentially get hurt and ruin a trade. There's no safer place to be in any type of a football camp than at quarterback. That is the safest place that you can be.
That's the place.
That's the place that you want to be. You're wearing a jersey that says, you cannot even come near me. You cannot breathe on me. It's crazy. I think that they need to, I think you're right, tell him to be there. Cully said that the plan for Watson and camp will be day to day. I don't know what that means exactly. It just seems the guy led the NFL in passing a year ago and had a remarkable season on a terrible team that did not win games. Not his fault. This is just bonkers. This is the wrong way to handle it.
Buddy, he's playing running back.
You don't want it to be a distraction.
This
is a bigger distraction than anything, to have him not just playing quarterback.
It's a circus.
It's a circus.
Yes. Can you imagine if this were Baker and he went to the back of the quarterback line and then got in the running back line behind Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and started running flare passes and catching flare passes, then stood behind John Johnson playing safety? Like, wrap your head. That's what happened in Houston.
It seems
this morning. That's what happened.
It seems crazy. It seems crazy. I don't know if they're trying to stick it to him. I don't know. I don't see how that helps your trade value with him. I don't see how it.
How does it not undermine Tyrod Taylor? How does it not undermine your roster, your locker room? You think guys the veterans who are there aren't looking around going, wait, what is going on with Four? What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, he wasn't here for minicamp?
So he can't play quarterback? That's where you were going with?
God. Jeez. Neither was Aaron Rodgers. They're not playing him at running back. He's currently hearing grievances. That doesn't mean you start him at safety. Give you a scout team look.
That's unbelievable.
Craziness. Absolute crazy. I've never seen anything like it for a guy who's – look, the off-field is separate from this. This is just how to handle chaos is what this is, and this is the antithesis of it. All this takes is get some adults in the room and say, hey, we understand you don't want to be here. We're trying to trade you. It's best if you're not here. We won't fine you $50,000 a day and move off of it. That's the way, because clearly it's about the $50K a day, and that's why he's there to begin with. Otherwise, he wouldn't be. It's absolute nonsensical. If your Social Security benefits have been denied, call the disability lawyers at 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. In addition to that, if you're obsessing over something like football, it can be a problem, but if you're obsessing over gambling, it can be dangerous. Do something to take your mind off it. If you want some tips, go to keepitfunohio.com for great ways to keep gambling fun. Kevin Stefanski on the other side of this quick timeout. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
All right, welcome back to Cleveland Browns Daily here at the Cross Country Mortgage Campus. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski expected to address the media momentarily, and we will have that for you here live. And this will be our first opportunity to hear from the Browns head coach, now now that we're here, now that we're ready for training camp in the 2021 season. I imagine we'll get an update on the health of our players, find out who is cleared to go, and I think the indications are that pretty much everybody of note, of consequence, will be ready to go. We'll find out if there are any exceptions to that, as well as find out.
Okay, good to see everybody.
And here he is, the head coach of your Cleveland
Browns.
Congrats
to Bill Nelson, Nicole Jackson for being named legends. Going to be exciting to celebrate those guys in person, along with Webster Slaughter and Josh Cribbs from last year. We weren't able to do that, so good to be in person with you all. First time in a while. Excited to have the fans back out here later in the week here at Cross Country Mortgage Campus, so ready to get to work. I know our guys are eager. Had a good walkthrough this morning, and then we'll get started this afternoon. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Can you start, Kevin, with everybody available health-wise?
Tony, we're going to be without Tony Fields. He injured his foot, the opposite the foot that he had an injury on before, so he'll miss some time. And then Dearness Johnson won't be out here, but he's excused for personal reasons. We'll see him later in the week.
Nobody on an injury list starting this season?
No.
Hey, Kevin, what's your team's vaccination rate?
I'm not going to get into specifics, Scott, but we're trending in the right direction. Just continue to educate everybody that we have a safe and effective vaccine. Want to keep our players safe, keep their families safe, the staff, etc. So that's what we're discussing with our guys.
You have to be careful that there's no division between guys that feel strongly both ways?
Yes, and I think the guys know how I feel. I respect everybody's decision. It is a decision that they get to make, but we're just going to continue to do our part to educate. For guys that maybe want some more information, that's what we're here for.
Would you be comfortable providing like a threshold? I think you said in June it was above 50. Is it say above 75 at this point?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into specifics.
Do you seek those players out who may be hesitant, or is it just like, my door's open, come talk to me?
I think we've, the medical staff has done an outstanding job of being there for our guys and answering any questions they may have and continue to have, and that's just what we're here for. Again, it's about player health and safety, and we're here and respectful of any decisions.
So Kevin, we asked you this before about building on last year, but so where do you start in training camp now compared to a year ago?
Back at the beginning. I think every year stands on its own merit, Jeff, so that the guys understand that there's a ton of work to do, and we're starting on that path. We started with the rookies and the quarterbacks early, bringing them in for a few days, and then getting the vets here yesterday, starting the meetings last night, meeting in person again. Haven't done that in a long time, so I think we're well on our way, but we have a long way to go.
What is your plan with Odell? Did some light stuff in minicamp. Now we're in training camp a little bit later. What's the plan?
Yeah, with Odell, very similar to a lot of guys, Jake. They have an individual plan that's tailored to them and where they are in their rehab, if you will. So we'll bring him along at the discretion of the doctors, our medical team, and Odell, and see how he's feeling. But had a good meeting with him last night. He's doing well.
What's the ramp up like this year? Is it 5 days before you can put on pads?
We're not in pads until we're day off on Sunday. We're in pads on Tuesday. So you can't be in pads on that first day off or after the first day off. You got to wait till Tuesday.
And that's the only ramp up restriction?
There's restrictions on what you can wear, how long you can go. So we'll adhere to all those rules, Tony, and just make sure that we do this safely.
When you gave your first speech to the team for training camp, did you talk about the Super Bowl expectations that are on the outside?
We talk about a lot of things. Scott, I promise you all 32 clubs talk about the Super Bowl. It's really easy to talk about it. It's hard to do. So we're just going to focus on the work.
Did you bring up the Kansas City loss, the playoff loss?
We've talked about a lot of things over time, but I'd say we're moving on to 2021.
Last year you guys learned what it took to get to be a playoff team in this league. What did you learn about what it's going to take for you guys to go further, to take that next step beyond just being a playoff?
Fumble. Sorry, one more time, Daryl.
Last year you learned what it took to make the playoffs in the NFL and be a playoff team. What did you learn from that last year, and how do you apply it to this year to get even further, to go the next step?
Yeah, I think we certainly established an identity on offense, defense, and special teams. But I truly do go back that every year stands on its own merit. So just because you did it last year doesn't mean you're going to do it this year. So we're going to start back at square one as we install one with the offense and the defense, installed punt this morning with Coach Preef. So we're going to make sure that we reinforce this foundation and not get too far ahead of ourselves, Darryl. But I would tell you that going into year two, certainly we've established, we hope, a way of operating.
Have you ever been in a situation, coaching-wise, where you've had this many same players on offense? And I'm just wondering, what does that change for you as a coach?
Yeah, I can't think specifically. Yeah, continuity is great if you can do it. Oftentimes in this league, it's hard to do, so it doesn't guarantee anything either. So I've already talked to a bunch of our guys that I'm glad that we're bringing some faces back that we know, and there's the teaching maybe dives into nuance a little bit more with those guys, but you really have to start at the beginning and start at the foundation. And I think what you'll see today is it's about fundamentals and techniques, and that's where we'll start.
Kevin, was Tony Fields hurt during the on-field work the rookies and quarterbacks had?
He was.
And do you have a feel for, like, is he going to need surgery, or is it going to be long-term?
I don't have a long-term update.
I know we're weeks away from preseason games, but you didn't have them last year. So in general, what's your philosophy on playtime for regulars?
Yeah.
And how will it change your camp this year compared to last year?
Yeah, I think, Tony, we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. We've had conversations about it, but I want to see where the team is. I want to see where we are when we approach those games, and then we'll make decisions really player by player. You also have to be mindful of the extra game this season. So there's a lot of things that we're taking into account as we start practicing, as we build this practice schedule out.
Kevin, we talk about the continuity a lot, but it also means in that your opponents probably know more about you than they did a year ago. So how do you take that into account when you're trying to tweak the offense or whatever?
Yeah, there's a bunch of tape on us last year on offense, defense, and special teams. So that's where teams, when they're playing us, especially early, that's where they'll start. That's where we're starting. So it's very natural in this game to evolve your schemes in a given season, over a given season. So, Jeff, we had a lot of those conversations this spring. We implemented a bunch of those changes in the off season into mini camp, and then we'll constantly try to grow. I don't believe that you can stay stagnant in this league because, you know, from an offensive coach's perspective, there's too many good defensive coaches out there. If you keep doing the same thing, they'll take it away.
Kevin, we got a chance to talk to Miles, and he said he feels like with so many new faces on D, especially, his leadership's more important than ever. What do you think it is, and how, I don't know, refreshing is it, or whatever the word you would use to describe hearing a key player really kind of take more on his shoulders?
Yeah, Miles been doing that since I got here, really. He's never shy to share how he feels with his teammates. He works his butt off, and the guys see that. He practices really hard, so he's a leader of this football team. And I think with that defense, like he mentioned, you know, with some new faces, he's needed. We need his leadership, and he knows that. And I think that's also part of the maturation of a player and of a person as Miles, you know, continues to stack some seasons on top of each other. He's grown into that role, is what I would tell you.
How different is the vibe compared to this time last year? I mean, you were just meeting guys for the first time. Guys were just meeting some of the coaches, and now you're coming off a breakout season. These guys enjoyed success together. So, you know, what is the vibe like now compared to this time a year ago?
Yeah, I'm not very good at measuring vibes, Jake. I think the guys are excited. I think they're excited to be back around each other. We're excited to get to work. There's a lot of energy out here at walkthroughs, so I think that'll probably carry over into practice.
Going back to the 17-game schedule, does that cause you to totally rewrite and rethink how you conduct training camp?
I wouldn't say totally, Tony, but you have to take it into account. And then it's not just for training camp. It really builds into how you proceed throughout the regular season, keeping that in mind.
How tough is it for Jeremiah not to be out here for the start of camp? And are you guys able to keep him in the loop through, you know, virtual meetings?
We are, and you know, we've had a lot of practice at those virtual meetings. So Coach Tarver, Coach Bloom, they're doing an outstanding job of making sure he's up to speed and getting as much as he can while he's not here.
I mean, I would imagine it's tough for a rookie to miss those, whatever, first however many practices.
Yeah, I'd say not ideal. Obviously, I'm sure he wants to be out here and we want him out here, but that's the nature of this thing, and we'll just bring him along as quickly as we can while he's not here.
Can you say whether he's out for 10 days?
I can't. Yeah.
Coach, with all the changes on, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Tom.
Thanks. With all the changes on defense, do you have to accept a little bit that this is going to take a minute for that group to mesh?
Yeah, I think our coaches understand that we're introducing some new guys in the scheme. Now we have a bunch of guys that are returning as well. So it's not like you're starting with an entire defensive new scheme like we were last year, like we were on offense and defense. So I think the guys have a plan. I think it really speaks to how you plan your practices, how you do your installs, how you make sure you don't go too fast, too quickly. And I think Joe and the staff are on top of that.
So I wanted to ask you about Joe Woods. I mean, what stood out to you about him last year as he was going through that season? And I mean, where does the confidence come from that he can kind of turn this defense around?
Yeah, Joe's a really good football coach. I believe in that staff. I think they did a nice job last season in some tough spots. So they've worked really hard this offseason, fine-tuning the scheme. As we mentioned, we're adding some new players in there, so I think Joe's as excited as anybody to get out here.
Did you learn anything new about him, kind of working so closely with him every day?
Having spent time with Joe years ago, he's a grinder. He stays in this office. He's in early, stays late. That light's always on in there, and he's working at it. So something I knew, but having an office right next to him, maybe I got a front row seat at it.
He wasn't the first assistant coach you announced because he was at the Super Bowl. But was he the first one in your mind that you selected from your district?
Yes.
Jarvis said earlier that last year was his toughest physically and mentally of all seasons. Are you looking forward to seeing him? He's leaner, he's healthier, kind of getting back to old Jarvis?
Yeah, Marla, I'm really impressed at how Jarvis looks. I mean, physically, he's in great shape. He really worked very hard this offseason, and he's ready to roll. He's consummate professional, thrilled that he's in that meeting room with some young guys, and they can kind of see how a pro does it. So, I think he's in a good place.
Last year's circumstances somewhat dictated how you had to run training camp. So this year, with some of the protocols being relaxed, you can do more a lot sooner. How much different can we expect, especially the early part of this training camp, to look compared to what you were able to do last year?
It'll be louder with the fans out here, which I'm excited to. I've heard all about it, so I'm excited to experience. Yeah, I think we'll be mindful, Daryl, of as we go, that we do this the right way. What we won't do is do too much too soon. That's just, I don't believe in that. So there's a way to start, and it may look slow to some people, but we're trying to reinforce the foundation because we got a lot of work to do, and we can't skip steps to get ahead.
Kevin, you were part of some teams in Minnesota that were really good and then never quite got to great. Is it tougher to take that step when you have an established team to go from, borderline playoffs or playoffs to a Super Bowl contender?
Yeah, Tom, I just think this league is really competitive. There's some great teams, there's great coaches. So year in and year out, it's hard, and we get that. So that's where our guys are up for the challenge. We're not going to think too much or think too far ahead of ourselves, but totally recognize that this league is it's difficult, and you'll get reminded every once in a while how difficult it is. But the guys understand this is a long season, and part of getting ready for that long season is putting some really good work in early as we get started.
Last year at camp, you were forced because of protocols to do some things non-traditionally. Did you learn that have you carried over any that you said, hey, that was a great idea, we ought to just do it that way anyway? Is there anything that came out of that?
I think, yes, Tony, we certainly learned a lot. I'd say a great example is what we're doing right now with JOK not being here. I think we can not lose too much not having him in person. And again, I think that's a credit to Coach Tarver, Coach Bloom, that staff. They're being very creative in how they can get him some walkthrough reps and make sure that he's staying up to speed. So those are the type of things that you learned last year that you can maybe apply to this year.
You had to relax. I don't know. You still had a lot of padded practices, but was kind of untraditional, the hitting involved in camp last year. Did that turn out to be a good idea in your mind?
I don't know how different it was last year, the hitting. I mean, we're going to adhere to the protocols in terms of how many padded practices you can get and that type of thing. So we'll make sure that we do it in a safe way, that we ramp this thing up. But as you know, it's football, so it's once the pads get on, it will look more like football, and guys will, I'm certainly, I believe, be flying around.
What do you keep an eye on with rookies this stage of training camp? Watch out for like burnout or head swimming, things like that.
Yeah, Andrew, I think it's great that those guys were in here for those 3 days. I think they got to knock off some rust mentally and physically. But for a young player, this is a lot. It's a long day. And you get in and you're lifting and you're going to meetings and then you're going to walk through, you're getting lunch, you're going back out to walk through, you're going to another meeting, you're coming out here, you got meetings afterwards. So it's a lot. And you make sure that those guys understand that's part of being a pro, being able to operate with all of that going on. So we'll just make sure that they're where they're supposed to be. And they're taking coaching, and I think you'll see, as we all do, you'll see growth with them over time.
Greg Newsom said he's comfortable inside and out, and I know Joe, when we talked at the end of minicamp, said he's working him inside. How important is it to have that flexibility, as your defensive coordinator?
Versatility is a big thing, and if he shows that he can play inside and out, that allows certainly Joe and the defensive staff to use him as such. But I'd tell you about a bunch of players. Troy Hill's somebody that can play inside and out. So I think when you have multiple guys that can do multiple roles, it just opens up the amount of things that you can do as a defense. So certainly that's a big deal.
Kevin, you said, I'm out of practice, but we're going to go about 2 more, and then we're going to wrap it. Kevin, you said that everybody talks about the Super Bowl, the start of the season. Last year, you guys probably didn't have a target on your back. This year, you do. Do you like that feeling going into training camp and the season, knowing that you're one of those teams that everybody will kind of have a bullseye on?
Yeah, we really, with all due respect, ignore what's going on the outside. I'm really concerned with what's going on and with the guys inside the building. So we'll just keep our focus on what we have to do and the work that we have to put into this, and anything else that's going on the outside, I'll let you guys worry about that.
Still doing the 4-H's?
Yeah, got a plan to do that, yes.
Just curious, thanks.
Good.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Good to see you guys.
You're back up.
All right, that's Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski. We will react to that when we return. Here still to come, 2 o'clock, one-on-one, an exclusive, CBD exclusive with Kareem Hunt. We'll get some observations from practice once the guys get out there on the field, and much, much more when Cleveland Browns Daily returns right after this.
If your game plan for the season includes buying or selling a home, Howard Hanna Real Estate Services has you covered. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today. Coach Stefanski there with his first availability of camp. And
Vintage.
We got to see him in the off season. And remember Paul? Paul George? Remember Playoff P? And it was, he's Playoff P. It's a different level of Paul George. And it turns out there really wasn't much of a Playoff P level, as it turns out, although he had a good series. There is season Stefanski and off-season Stefanski. What you got today was season Stefanski. And the line I love is, I'm not very good at measuring vibes.
Yeah. Kevin Costner said I would be a good vibe measurer. And I'll tell you what, the vibe is good. It's positive, energetic. It's an energetic vibe. That was a
so good.
Interesting.
He's not interested in your in that stuff. That's not who he is. He's interested in absolutes.
Sir, we are aware that you have, at a minimum, the 3 Ps, and we have added a 4th P over the course of your first year here winning the NFL Head Coach of the Year. One of those Ps is we know you're prepared, right? You have a plan, a process to implement that plan, and, of course, you maintain your poise the whole time. But what you told us about the preseason is that we haven't even made a plan for that. Really? We all know that's not true. I'm not going to share that plan with you. That plan is for me, and that is for those who need to know.
Yeah.
And that you are not amongst those who need to know, world. That's for us inside this building. I haven't really thought about how we're going to approach the preseason. Oh, okay. All right. Yes, of course he has. He's just not sharing. That's seasoned Stefanski. That's a double S right there. He's not going to give you anything.
Stefanski.
He's going to answer your questions. He's going to make everybody feel good about it. Okay, this guy's, again,
be polite.
On top of
very
it,
polite.
very polite. But you're not going to – he will not be the source of news for anybody.
No.
He's not doing it. It's not happening.
No. No. And he's not interested in hypotheticals and dreams and painting rainbows. That's not what he is. This is a man, and it's different, and it was cool, even though we didn't have a normal off season. But it was cool just seeing him, even at the draft when we were back and we did those draft shows, and just to see him like in person and like loosened up, and just to see who he is and off of this, because there are two different humans. This guy now is in the other mode. He's seasoned Stefanski mode, and so this is what it's going to be. Going forward, and it is great to hear, and that's what it reminded me of, hearing that. In terms of other things that caught your attention, Z, what do you have?
Well, I was just going to give one analogy. He is like off-season Stefanski is like normal Reggie Jackson, normal Mr. October, and then season Stefanski is like once he's been programmed to kill the queen. Singular focus, I must kill the queen from Naked Gun, fine film for all the young people out there. And that's the difference. He's just got a singular focus, and if it's not in his purview, like a Clydesdale, he's not interested in it, and so that's where he's going to be.
Not interested.
Did anything really stick out to me? I started writing notes, and ended up with not a whole lot of notes because there really isn't much to talk about. He mentioned that the vaccination rate is trending in the right direction. He wouldn't get into any specifics because I think that even though I feel pretty confident it's a high number, and the Browns are in a great place with this, he doesn't want anybody focusing on, the percentage that isn't. And he respects everybody's decision. The PUP list, we are healthy, folks. Tony Fields, that's a rough break for him. That's a rough break for Tony Fields, and it is not a lock to make this team at linebacker. And this is a slow start to his Browns career and something he's going to have to overcome. In a hurry once he does get back on the field. Dearness Johnson, with a personal reason, and Gibbe told us that he'd seen on the socials that Dearness had a child. So congratulations to Dearness Johnson, and then we'll get him back here and ready to go. But honestly, not a whole lot there. Odell, we're going to take it as it goes. Jarvis looks great. Miles looks great. He's going to be a leader. Am I mistaken, or did we make it through that whole thing without really any questions about Baker, Clowney, John Johnson, Denzel Ward? I don't recall hearing anything about those guys. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, nothing.
No, I don't. And I will, I'll give a pass from the standpoint of you can do your best, and we do. I mean, we do the show at the Coaches Zone. So no. I just mean, like, you can formulate the best possible, or what in your mind's eye, what's the best possible question to elicit an answer. But it's not going to give you anything that's newsworthy.
That's right.
That's not what it's about. It really is, and it's not. It's not a put on. It's just who he is. Seasoned Stefanski is about the work. He's just about the. He's not interested in anything other than the work. When we would try to do big picture stuff, even on some of the coaches shows towards the end of the season, even like after he'd won Coach of the Year, reject it. Not interested. I don't want it. I'm not interested in that. I'm about. And he was one of the few people that I've come in, and I've been around a lot of coaches, college and pro, and I know you have as well. He's one of the few guys that really is that way.
Yeah.
Like he implements it. Like he really is only focused on today's practice. Of course, there's big picture plans of preseason and training camp, and there's a plan for all of that. But in terms of in that moment, he's worried about an hour from now, I'm on the field with this team for the first time. This is what needs to get done. And when you get into game week, he's only focused on the game that week. That's it. And the practices that lead to it. It's remarkable, really, the blinders that he puts on, and he lives that way. It's not a put on.
But it is not a put on at all, and that's part of his process, right? That's one of the 3 Ps. That's his process. That's the way he goes about his business, and that if you can take care of this rep and then take care of the next rep and every rep in this drill, we've now taken care of that drill. If we take care of drill after drill, we've now taken care of practice, and we take care of this practice and practice and practice, we're going to end up putting ourselves in a position where the game is going to take care of itself. And that's his philosophy. They're about the work. And, I think these guys know exactly what they're getting. And you're going to hear that from Kareem in just a moment, but they know what to expect. It's very clear. There is no confusion. They know that what he expects of them is the same thing he's going to expect of himself and his coaching staff. We're going to put in the work. We're going to get prepared. We're going to put ourselves in the best position to succeed. And then if we go out and execute at the best of our ability, we are going to win, and have the chance to do something really significant.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. And we'll play some stuff from Jarvis and Miles from you guys from their availabilities this morning coming up in the second hour of the program. And you will hear them say a lot of that they know exactly where they stand. You get the feeling that this team knows exactly what is at stake, and this is a business camp. This is about getting right for a 17-game season. It's about a long run in January, and you feel like everybody's on the same page. And so while we're not very good at measuring vibes, I feel like those of us that are maybe not the head coach of the Cleveland Browns can be. And the vibes I'm getting is it's time to do a little bit of work. And that's the first thing that Stefanski said he was about. It's about the work, and I think that's gotten through to this team. Nathan mentioned it. We will go one-on-one with Kareem Hunt. That will happen coming up next. The Browns about ready to hit the practice field in about a half hour from now. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Program here on Cleveland Browns Daily. Your Cleveland Browns will hit the practice fields for the first time in training camp here in a matter of moments. We will let you know what we see on that front coming up shortly, as this is going to be the start of something that is going to be awfully, awfully fun. I want to tell you about my friends at EOX Vantage. EOX Vantage connects core systems that don't talk. From reporting and analytics to insight and decision-making, gain a more complete, real-time picture of your business. You can eliminate the Excel nightmares from business processes. You can visualize important data. You can do it in one place. You can gain real-time insight to make data-driven decisions on performance through role-based visualization dashboards. With EOX Vantage, you can benefit from lower overall costs, better alignment between technology and business needs, scalability, ease of deployment, and management. EOX Vantage makes your data work smarter. That's going to help your business move forward, guys. You're all about growth. Your software should be too. With EOX Vantage, your company will scale effortlessly. It's a local presence but global footprint, trusted by some of the world's biggest brands, and a 2021 Cleveland Plain Dealer Top Workplace winner. Head to www.eoxvantage.com. One of the key factors on this team this season, and by the way, I saw some of the over-unders on Kareem Hunt. Going to be a little better than some of the stuff I saw. He is Kareem Hunt. He's a great friend of the program. Here is Nathan one-on-one with Kareem.
Very happy.
You're down.
And by somebody who's really, quite frankly,
about 11 minutes.
Browns running back Kareem Hunt. And Kareem, you guys are back. Training camp officially kicks off today. The fans, of course, in attendance on Friday. But, first of all, how the hell are you, man? How was your off season? How was the summer?
I'm good. It went great. It was pretty fast, man. And it feels good to be back out here, getting things ready to roll. It's finally starting to feel a little bit normal here, so I'm very excited.
That's a good thing, and you're one of the few guys on this roster that knows what it's like to come back with the same staff and the same offense. It's a new experience for pretty much everybody else around you on this offense that have spent their whole career with the Browns. What is it like for you guys, knowing what you were able to do in the past under those circumstances, to have that continuity this year?
It's a great feeling because we know what to expect, and we know how the coaches, want it done, and then now we're just, picking at little things that we can get better at and build on top of that. So seeing the same coaches here and everybody, it's nice. So we can, we got chemistry together. They know what they expect, and they know our strengths and weaknesses. So it's good to have people who know you and we know them.
How good is it just to be around the guys again? And on offense, I was looking at it last year. It's basically everybody is back. So it's not just the coaches. It's not just the system. It's everybody, and you guys all seem to really enjoy being around each other. So what's it like to be back with everybody?
It's great. I'm happy to see my guys, Chubb, all the other running backs, Baker and those guys. I'm just happy to see us all in the building, under the building, able to eat in the cafeteria together and stuff like that, just bond again. So it feels good. We got a long ride ahead of us, so can't wait.
Do you think that because you guys are having that continuity, that helps? Because otherwise it would be, almost like reintroductions. But now you guys already knew each other. You didn't get to do those things that you probably took for granted, right? Eating in the cafe and being around everybody, and to have that back, but already have those bonds. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's fun.
It's great, get to catch up with everybody and, just see everybody, happy again, without masks.
Absolutely. What was Coach Stefanski's message to the team last night in that team meeting?
His message that it's, going to be a tough training camp. We got to come ready to work, and, it's going to be some days we mad at him, some days he's mad at us, and, it's training camp. It's work, but this is we put all the work in for, week 17 and everything else that comes after that. So that's what we got to do.
So you're running it back, as I said, on offense. Now, the defense you're going to see against you in training camp, pretty much completely new. A lot of new faces on that side of the ball. Is that going to be fun? Because there are some big names over there. Some big acquisitions have come in, and all of a sudden, this could be a real iron sharpens iron experience.
Right. It is fun, and that defense has a lot of talent now, and I'm very excited to see them get to work, even against us, because we got to do a good job of getting them ready to play, good offenses and stuff like that. So we got to give them a great look, and they got to give us a great look. So I can't wait to see those guys come together and gel as a team and, see what the defensive coordinator draws up for those guys.
Did minicamp give you a little taste of it? I know it was so quick, but did it give you a little taste of really kind of what this team can be and what this season could potentially be for you guys?
Oh, most definitely. It definitely gave me a little taste. And, just seeing all those big-name guys, it might be one of the most talented rosters I've ever been on. And I played on some pretty talented teams, in my day. So I'm excited to see, everybody compete because it's going to be a competitive training camp.
It sure is. And one of the things I think a lot of people are interested, okay, let's get our eyes on this defense. Let's see how they come together. What I'm interested in with the offense, because as we said, same coaches, pretty much the same core players, same scheme, is what's the evolution going to be? As Kevin Stefanski said at the end of the year, he said, look, if we stay the same, we're not getting better. Right. So what's without, again, don't give away any of the secrets, but are you excited about that, what this evolution could be, what that means for you personally? Maybe there's more in the screen game, more 5 wide. Maybe we go, some more up-tempo stuff. But what are you excited about kind of the evolution of this offense, knowing that you guys already have that foundation built?
I'm excited because, like you said, we got to, we know who we are. And, we know what we're good at, and now we get time to put things together and work on some other things that, we want to add to our game or, get better at. And being able to do that gives us time to, gel and, come up with new plays and new formations and stuff like that. Last year it was kind of hard doing all that with limited time and, limited time with the coaches and in the building, so it'll be a lot more stuff I think Coach have up his sleeve.
When you guys think about, what happened in Pittsburgh in that playoff game and you running people over, doing push-ups in the end zone, that great win, your family in attendance at that one, it was a special night, and then going to Kansas City, coming up a little short, is that something you guys have all talked about, just that hunger, that fire, because you guys have the talent to do it, to just let's make sure we take care of what we need to get back there and get those chances again? Yeah,
most definitely. And I said it before, we can compete with anybody, so that just shows that we can, and that also shows that we need to work on some things and get better, and somehow find a way to win that game. Even though every game ain't gonna be pretty, we gotta find a way to win the ugly ones. So that's what we need to do, and I was very proud of the team and how we all came out, that Pittsburgh game, as offensively and defensively. We all played together as a team and found a way to win.
The fans want you mic'd up for every game because you're just pure joy. You love this game. You love playing it, and it shows.
Yeah, that's it. All I do is go out there and have fun with it. I've been playing it my whole life, so you got to have fun and still, go hard at the same time. So that's what I try to do. I might goof around a little bit and, crack jokes, but, when I step in between those lines, it's about business. So that's it.
And that's the same mindset your backfield mate Nick Chubb has. You guys may have a little bit slightly different approaches in terms of who's going to be talking while the game's going on, but it is that business attitude. And it felt to me, a little bit further away. I'm excited training camp to be closer, but even that mini camp just felt business. It felt like you guys were here to just take care of the business that needed to be done, take that first step on this 2021 season. Do you get the sense this team is, while you guys love being around each other and there is fun, but this team's focused on handling its business?
Right, yeah, and I definitely do agree with that. We are focused on that, and we focus on getting better because we think we can got a shot for sure.
All right, so what did you do in the offseason? Anything fun that you did personally this offseason when you guys got a chance to get away from here?
Yeah, I went on a couple trips. I played in a Jarvis softball game. I went out to Texas, trained with Baker for like a week and other guys on the team, and I was just on the water a lot too. Went out on, my boat out here in Cleveland and, Baker's boat out there. Yeah. Just, enjoying the water. I love the summertime, and I love, being out and about.
Yeah, you like being on the boat. Are you the captain? Do you like to do some tubing? What do you like to do?
I'm the captain. I'm the captain now.
You like to drive that ship. Yeah, I like it. And, seeing some of those videos of you guys when you were out there with Baker, it just, that camaraderie, and that's something that you can't force. It can't exist where it doesn't. It just seems that you guys have that genuine kind of friendship in addition to this business relationship that we can go do something special in between those white lines.
Right. Honestly, I call it a brotherhood. We all got each other's back, and if anybody needs anything, we're not afraid to ask at all. So that's the thing. Any of those guys can open up and talk to me about anything they need to, and it'll be just between us two or whatever. Yeah. So that's good. That's how you build a good team chemistry, and you want guys like that, playing along next to you.
All right. Did anybody surprise you at the softball game? Were you surprised? Baker's swing, by the way, was pretty sweet. I didn't know I was expecting that. Pretty sweet. Did anybody other than that really surprise you at that game?
I would say Jarvis shocked me too. You know, he has a pretty good swing too, and I say Odell surprised me too, just because he got all that talent and ability, and he missing a slow pitch. I think he might have struck out one time. So
yeah, right. Listen, we won't talk about that with him, of course. But yes, it is crazy. By the way, isn't it crazy how good he looks? Like, would you even know that he tore his? It's nuts.
No, he looks great. You know, Odell's a heck of an athlete and everything. You know, the dude can play soccer, football, basketball. You know, and he need to work on baseball a little bit more.
We all need to have our weakness.
But
right?
he's just, he's a heck of an athlete. You know, fast, strong. It looked like he didn't even have an ACL injury. If you told me he tore his ACL probably 8 months, 10 months ago, I wouldn't believe it. So
it's wild. It certainly is wild. All right, and I know Coach Stefanski would probably say, don't even answer this question, Kareem. So if you wanted to go that route, you don't have to. But what I wanted to say is, because I know we're going to be focused on each practice, having a good practice today, good practice tomorrow. But what does it mean to this team that you guys get a chance to open this season where last season, and I know for you in particular, probably means more than everybody else, going back to Kansas City with a chance for the 2021 Browns to really, and we know it's only week one, and we know what week one was last year, and look at what the season became. But what's it like to have that opportunity to go right back there and really try to erase that wound?
Honestly, I think the NFL know what they're doing. They want to see another good game, and we got one of the best teams in NFL. You know, we got to go see them. So honestly, I think that's the perfect test. You know, week one, we get to see where we are. You know, if we're going to be a playoff-ready team right away, or we're going to have to work and build right away. So I'm very excited to go out there and play Kansas City again, and see some of those guys I love and care about. So I'm just excited, man. Like I can't wait. I really can't. I don't even have words for it, but I'm excited to get out there and play them for sure.
I can see that in your eyes, and I know that's a big one. And then for you, being from here, getting to have all the fans back with this team. And I know you played in front of the fans, obviously, 2 years ago, but to have them back with this team and these expectations at home.
30.
I get a little bit of chills when I think about what it's going to be like to be back in that stadium with the fans. But, what do you want to say to the fans and all those who are going to be out here at camp this year and be at the stadium and, what you guys are trying to do for them?
I just want to say to them, come out with a lot of energy, be loud, and be grateful that we're allowed to have you guys back watching us play the game of football again, and make sure you take care of, each other and stuff and the fans like that. That's what I'd have to say to them.
Absolutely. Kareem, it is always a pleasure. It's great to get to sit with you, man, and best of luck this season.
Thank you. You're up.
Man, I love when we get a chance to talk to him. Great job
Same.
out of you. Great job out of him as well to have that conversation. He's come a long way, and he's just a really cool kid to talk to, and it's I think he's going to have a big impact. I do. Did you see the running back ratings before we get back out to what you saw at your little brief venture out there on the veranda to get a look at what camp will have to do? Did you see the Madden rankings?
I did not, but I just wanted to really quickly say that Kareem he's. You can tell how much this means to him, and I think that's very special. And look, what he and Nick Chubb did last year, including the playoffs, 2 backs, over 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdowns, same season, same backfield. It's only happened 4 times in NFL history. So they were incredibly productive, and I think there is room for more. But so excited for Kareem, and it was great to talk to him. And I'll tell you what, when I asked him a question about Kansas City opening the season there, that means a lot to him for so many reasons.
Well, you could even see the frustration last year in the playoff game.
Oh, yeah.
With him.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of he felt like he could do more, certainly. And so, it is. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it does mean a lot. I mean, he is a Cleveland kid, man. And this organization took a shot on him. That's not lost on him. So I think the fact every year we have the two of them, it's a blessing. Because I think it's the best backfield the NFL in a long time that the NFL's had in terms of 2 guys in their prime this accomplished. I just don't think there's a whole lot of examples of anything similar to this, in recent memory, and I stand by that. I mentioned real quickly because it doesn't pertain to Kareem. You did not see the running back rankings on Madden? So we've done the defensive ends, we've done some of the other positions.
Can I give mine for both of them? Can I because I don't know?
Yeah.
Can I throw out what I would do?
Okay,
Nick Chubb 97, or this is what I think they will do. Nick Chubb 97, Kareem Hunt 92. And if I were doing it, I would have gone 99, 97.
Incorrect. So they went. This was the shocker to me. They went Christian McCaffrey number 1, 97, which is crazy.
Derrick Henry's got to be injury, number 1. If
of course, and Henry should be a 98.
Yep.
And I thought yesterday we said on the show Chubb should be a 97. He should be the number 2 running back. He's actually third. So it goes McCaffrey 97, Henry 96, and then Chubb 96. But Chubb is actually the third back behind McCaffrey and Henry. I don't understand how Henry's not number 1. He's not. Kareem Hunt was not in the top 10. So the top 10 went all the way down to 88. And they had Josh Jacobs ahead of Kareem Hunt.
What?
Josh Jacobs like a 91. I'm going, boy, I don't feel like you're watching the same football that I am. Now, those guys are really good, and it's fun to dispute it, and I know they do their homework. They're very diligent, but it does seem like they missed on the running backs.
Kareem Hunt's a top 10 back in the NFL. I think if you were to ask just about any talent evaluator around the league, they would come to that same conclusion. That's how good he has been. I mean, this was a guy in Kansas City who led the league in rushing. And on our team, he just, because of Nick Chubb and his greatness, he's playing somewhat of a complimentary role. But this is a guy who gave you last year on the ground, 841 yards, 6 touchdowns, had another 304 and 5. So he gave you in the regular season over 1,100 total yards, 11 touchdowns, and then in the playoffs, he was tremendous for you in terms of what he was able to accomplish. He rushed for 6 yards a carry. He scored 3 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, Kareem Hunt he's definitely a top 10 running back. I don't think there's any question about it.
The total offense numbers for him were like 895. Total offense. I was floored. I mean, it's going to be at least you said 1,100 last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
1,195.
Yeah. I think he'll be more than that.
All right, let's be better than that.
Yeah,
that's okay. Disrespect.
Be a little better. I know you got to.
He'll eat your disrespect for breakfast.
That's good.
That's fine. So yeah, just took a look out there. Everybody just walking onto the field right now, getting ready to kind of go through their stretching, all the different positions groups. It's just great to see everybody out there. Your head's on a swivel. There goes John Johnson. There goes Myles Garrett. There goes Denzel Ward. There goes Jadeveon Clowney. Oh, Grant Delpit looking spectacular. Jacob Phillips looked noticeably bigger to me as he made his way out onto the field. And then all the stars on offense. Chubb, again, as always, looks like he was just carved out of stone. You got this offensive line that is just left to right. So Studley, Wills, Bitonio, Treader, Teller, Conklin, James Hudson looks good. Malik Jackson is quite a sight when you see is so physically imposing, so broad across the solar plexus, which is an old school wrestling term.
He caught us by attention. I remember in minicamp when he walked out. Wait, who is that?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's Malik. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how we're doing it. All right. Sounds good. But just
Yeah.
Great to see everybody. Just they're making their way out there. And as you heard, these are the ramp-up days. These are, as you heard Kevin Stefanski say in his press conference, it may seem like we're going real slow to people. That's okay. We're focused on not how electric we can be on the last few days of July. We're focused on, as we talked about, September, October, November, December, January, February.
I think that's the thing that is it's gonna take all of us, right? It's you and I, it's our collective media that covers the team, it's you, the fans. It's a different mindset. It's a different mindset. You were with this, when you would pour over every training camp completion and go, my God, the quarterback threw 2 interceptions. Oh my God, we got to go find another quarterback. Those are the days in the rear view. Those are the days in the rear view. And so when Stefanski says that we're going to take things slow, and that's fine, because this is about a big trust the process.
Yep.
Trust his process more specifically. This man knows what he's doing. He coached this team to 12 wins, a playoff win in Pittsburgh that he wasn't even at, for crying out loud. He did so without ever meeting with his team in person. He installed an offense without ever meeting with his team in person in terms of meetings and drill. I mean, it's a crazy thing that was pulled off last year.
Incredible.
Just imagine what he can do with the full offseason. And so trust it. Don't be worried about the minutia of this. He knows what he's doing. This organization knows what it's doing from the top down in terms of how to manage this. And he's had a plan. He's had a lot of time to work on this. He has a plan. It's going to be executed. And it's not I saw this yesterday. Someone just kind of offhandedly said that Dak threw 4 interceptions, in Cowboys camp. And the thing was, well, that's what he's supposed to do. He's testing what his legs can do. He's testing what they can do offensively. That's by design. Like, that's the idea. Throw pick. It's fine. Dak doesn't worry about his job.
No.
Like, he's not worried. He's not doing that. He's trying to see what he can get away with both physically and probably what their offense can get away with. That's what training camp's for.
Yep.
Training camp isn't games. It's about getting right. And so when Season Stefanski says that, that's what he means. We're about the games. And
That's
this
right.
leads us to the games, and we're going to do this right and trust us and that we know how to get there. And after what we saw last year, I don't know how you couldn't.
Right, and look, you want to, obviously, we would love to put on a show for everybody that's in attendance, but the whole point is getting it ready so that we can put on shows on the games that matter. And that's what the NFL is all about. Nobody at the end of the season is going to talk about who had the most awesome training camps. And listen, we know what has happened following a preseason in which we went undefeated.
Right.
Season wasn't quite that way. Not by a long shot.
Not so great.
Not so great. So
no.
What matters is taking care of business when it's there. Look, they have this laid out exactly what they hope to accomplish each step of the way. And it's one of those situations where, it's like, as we talked about, it's like the yodeler guy on Price is Right. We're going to go rung by damn rung right up to the top, yodeling along the way until we get to the top of the mountain. And that's the goal. That's what it's about. And their belief in their program is designed to do, one, to implement things in the most efficient and effective way possible for best retention, build that core, then start to add the wrinkles on top of that once we have that foundation solidified, and to stay healthy, to reduce soft tissue injuries as best that we can, to manage the health of our players as best as we can so that we enter this season on track to be ready to go September the 12th in Kansas City, and then beyond that so that we can continue to keep ramping up and getting better as the season goes on. There are lots of times where teams, you don't want to peak in September. Now, what Kareem said I thought was great. We'll find out right away if we're playoff contenders day one this year, or we're going to find out if we, like last year, we all remember what happened week 1 last year, and it didn't matter.
Yep.
Or if we're a team that's going to have to build that and ramp up as this season progresses, and we know that we can do that. Would it be great to just go out there and say, yeah, right away, we're right there. We just looked at the top dog in this conference, stood toe-to-toe, eye-to-eye, and we came out on top? Yep. But if it doesn't happen, that's also okay. This team they know how to handle that already.
And that's you just hit it. That's the beauty of opening with Kansas City, because it can be however you want it to be. It can either be a great, let's see where we are, and honestly, either way it is, win or lose. It's let's see where we are. But overall, it's a largely meaningless game in the course of a 17-game schedule. Sure, there could be tiebreakers down the road, who knows? But in terms of it playing it first, there isn't the importance of playing it 14th. It's a totally different vibe. It is a really fun opener is what it is. And you can learn from it either way. You'll either find out that you got a long way to go, that you're close, or that you're ahead of schedule. And all of it, and none of it rather, is going to make any difference necessarily in what you do in January, because this is a long season. So there's going to be a lot of fun along the way.
Yep.
And, of course, it starts today. We're going to get you some early observations from the first day of camp out here in Berea. We will get you that coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. Your Cleveland Browns out on the field for the first practice of training camp, and away we go. I want to talk to you about my friends at Weather Seal Home Services. Do you need a roof replacement? Would you like to replace your roof for the final time? Well, that's the benefit of choosing a metal roof from Weather Seal. Metal roof technology, materials, styles, and colors have improved significantly. They are beautiful, nearly indestructible, and affordable. Plus, with a new metal roof, Weather Seal includes 100 feet of free extra-large gutters and up to 7 years zero-interest financing. That's right, 7 years, zero interest on the financing. Call my guys at 877-351-SEAL or visit WeatherSealHomeservices.com. Before your Cleveland Browns hit the practice field, some of our leaders address the media. Among those, one of our favorites, the great Jarvis Landry. Let's have a listen.
You were here in 2019.
You're down.
How is this time different?
What do you mean?
Like, there was so much hype around the team, and then you guys kind of came out flat.
Yeah.
Does it feel different this time?
Yeah, I mean, listen, bullets haven't stopped flying yet. We're here in training camp. We focusing on that. We're a long ways away from a first game, and today is just day one.
Jarvis, have you ever been in a situation like this with this many of the same guys back on one side of the ball?
No, I haven't.
What has it been like just to be seeing all the same faces and after so much change?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's good. It feels good because being around a lot of these guys also for the summer and watching them work and obviously able to be here when a lot of guys came in that's still here and watching their transition and watching their progress throughout the years that's going to help us this year. So it's been good to be around a lot of familiar faces.
How about coming back to the same offense, the same coaches for the first time, really, I think, in your Browns career?
Yeah.
Where you're not learning something new again. What will that do for these guys like yourself coming back?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the familiarity of the play style, the play system is something that can benefit us, and we don't have that learning curve, now it's just kind of growing from what we already do. So I think that's the best thing about having a system for multiple years.
Did you ever have that at Miami where you came back to the exact system?
1 year. 1 year. So every other year has been a different offense, different coach.
Go ahead. I know a lot of us have been tuning into your YouTube channel and that show you put together. And you talk about your weight and going down. Was that like a focus of your off season, and just how are you feeling and what's all behind that and where your body's at?
Yeah, no, it was really important to me this off season to really hone in on the things that I've been kind of collecting, about myself and learning about myself throughout the years of being a professional. I think each year I've added a little bit more to my routine, to my off season, and the weight thing. I think that also played a part into last year coming from surgery. I don't know if you guys know, but I just rehabbed that whole time. So I did no strength and development. I did no speed training. I just played the season off of rehab. So now I had an opportunity to do that this year and pay more attention and be more detailed with that, and that has helped me greatly.
I'm sure you're always excited to come in to a camp and get together with your teammates again, but with what you just said, is there an added level of excitement for you on an individual level because you've had the opportunity to, put that work in, instead of rehabbing?
Yeah, truly. It's giving me a lot more motivation. It's giving me a lot more just love, back for the game. And that's something that when you go through surgery, they don't tell you about the mental part of, trying to recover and things like that. So, again, like I say, having to have an off season the way that I had this year was very important to me. Very important to me.
Is this the most talented team you've been on?
Yeah.
30.
This is.
What's it like when you look over and see all those new? I know you're not going to face them in practice, but those new additions on defense and the upgrades on that side of the ball. What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, it looks amazing, and we get the opportunity to compete against each other. I think that's, when you bring in guys of the caliber of guys that we brought in, the competition level raises to another notch, and that's something that's definitely important when you're trying to go from good to great.
You're up.
It is always so great to hear from Jarvis. I know you saw him around the facility as well, Z. And
yeah, it's great.
You can, I do, and we'll get to some observations from you saw, but I do think that when you think about, this Browns era, the acquisition of Jarvis Landry and everything he brought is a big, big part of that.
Jarvis Landry has been a massive part of the internal culture change in that locker room, and it started with that amazing speech we saw in Hard Knocks. He's a guy that I hope plays in this uniform until he decides he does not want to play football or his body will no longer let him play football. He is one of my favorite Cleveland Browns of all time. He is the heart and soul of this team. I've said that many, many times, and I love Jarvis, and I can't wait. You know, it's great to hear him healthy. People have no idea how tough this guy is. I mean, we've talked about it in the past, but people don't even understand what it's like to play through the injuries he did in his back and his ribs. Stuff that would make a lot of people not want to get out of a chair, let alone go play a game where you have people who are amongst the most elite athletes in the world running and trying to hit you. And Jarvis has done it all. So it's great to hear him say, you know, that he was healthy and actually had a nice off season and he's, you know, feeling good. And you heard Kevin Stefanski in his presser talk about just how great Jarvis looks and how great his body looks and how healthy he is. Yeah. So that's a great thing. And such a leader for this team, such a leader for this organization, such a fine representative of this city, a guy who, you know, you wouldn't have probably thought would really embrace Cleveland, but he loves it here. He has embraced Cleveland completely, and it's awesome.
Well, listen, we say that, but the thing that you have to remember is that, and we've talked about this over the years, there is a very collegiate feel to the Cleveland Browns' relationship to Cleveland. And if you think about those guys that played at LSU, that played at Ohio State, that played at Oklahoma, that played at Georgia, the world stops on a Saturday in those places. It stops. And there aren't that many places in the NFL where the world stops. There are a lot of really big cities in the NFL, lots of them, that have a lot going on a Sunday. And, for example, if you're in Chicago in the fall, yeah, the Bears are a really big deal, but so might too be the Cubs and the White Sox. And other things might be a really big deal on a given Sunday. In Cleveland, Sunday stops for the Browns. And Buffalo's probably like that, and Green Bay's like that, and Pittsburgh's like, there's others. You know, there's a few. But we're one of them. And there is something that and you think about where Jarvis was, it was not one of those places. Miami Sundays don't stop. Miami Sundays go to the beach.
That's right.
It's the most passive. So I think you could understand how he would just gulp it up and say, boy, this is amazing. I love the passion of this, and he feeds off it. You see it when he plays.
Yeah, his intensity, and I mean, just, you know, the magic of that catch and run on a third down where they tried to show the same coverage. The Steelers in that game that got the pick six early in the year, disguise it, but play the same coverage, and the Browns beat it, and Jarvis took it to the house, and it was just so emotional. I remember looking into his eyes after that touchdown, and his passion, the fire with which he plays is it's special. He's a special human being, and I'm glad he's on our team. And I think it really is incredible to me. He was another guy that when we got him coming out of Miami, there were, he's bad this, bad that. Ridiculous. Absurd. And there's got to be some
couldn't be further.
I wish there was some type of way that, you know, there could be and look, perhaps he's matured. You know, you never know what it's like somebody starts early, but I would be floored if Jarvis Landry is anything other than the ultimate competitor. And yeah, look, when you're that much of a competitor and you hate to lose as much as a guy like Jarvis Landry does, sure, in the heat of the battle, you're going to say some things at times that, you know, maybe you would take back because you're just so fired up, and losing, it eats at you, it gnaws at you. But give me all of those guys. Give me all of those guys that hate losing more than they love winning, and you're going to find guys who find a way to make sure they don't lose.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember Heartline vouching for him very, very quickly. Like, you're going to love him. So, that was that was something that was very clear. You were just out at camp, got a quick look. Anything you can take? I understand it's early. We're just so thirsty for anything that we'll take it. But in terms of just anything you observed that caught your attention.
Well, I just love that, number one, it's so efficient, right? As soon as they got done with their stretching, everybody was off. Everybody knew what they were supposed to be doing. You had the punt returners, and for those wondering who was out there with the punt returners, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Demetric Felton, Anthony Schwartz, who's another name we haven't talked about because we didn't really see him in minicamp, but he's a full go. Ryan Switzer, JoJo Natson, who was going to be the return specialist a year ago, and Jamarcus Bradley were doing that, and everybody kind of broke off into their groups. You had some special team stuff going on. The O-line, D-line were doing some things individually as well, some quarterback to receivers, quarterback to running backs. And the other thing and I'm glad that it has not been a massive story because I had a chance to sit down, and as somebody who's had, my own setback with this in the NFL, seeing Callie back out there with everybody and doing her work and put it in. So it was great to see that as well. And it's good to see everybody out there getting after it with the same goal. And, they're all walking out there in their work T-shirts, and then literally when I say that, I mean, it's not a work T-shirt, a T-shirt you wear to work. It's a T-shirt on the back. It says work. Andrew Berry walking out to watch his guys. And, yeah, it just felt businesslike, and it opened with some Pearl Jam was the first song played out there, which yeah, so there you go.
Do you know the track? What I know you know. Do you remember which one it was?
Yes, the opening track from the Pearl Jam collection. People were already tweeting about it. It was far, and oh man, I'll get it in a second. Somebody tweeted about it, and they're declaring. Right. I won't put. Yeah, they're declaring that because it was Pearl Jam, it meant Super Bowl for the Browns. That was the initial feeling that people were having.
I mean, it's a great band. So
it's quite a band.
I think that's. Fair.
I love that Simmons still uses it.
That's fair.
On the BS report that he gives you the full song and everything. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, that's absolutely the way that it should be. Gibby, how long is do you want to play a little Miles here? We got time for a little Miles real quick here before we wrap it up.
It's about 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Oh, perfect.
Just some highlights.
Let's listen to Myles Garrett at the podium from earlier today.
You're down.
This training camp starts with really high expectations. You were here in 2019 when there were high expectations. What's the difference? How's the team able to better cope with it this time?
There's no difference. On paper we look great, but that's just it. It's on paper. And we got to go out here, got to put the work in. We got to grind. We got to make sure that chemistry is there for when we match up with the Chiefs first week. So, it all looks good, but we got to make it great out here day by day.
What do you make of, you've been around Clowney and McKinley now since minicamp, parts of OTAs. What do you make of them, what they'll bring to the defense?
Yeah, we'll see. I like the energy that they both have. I like how they both practice, and they're both in the books a lot. They're not afraid to ask for help and ask for a little bit of expertise and advice when we're going run or pass or whether I'm working on a step or going down inside. How we're supposed to work with each other to make it time up right. So those guys are professionals and I like working with them already.
Myles, do you have to accept that it might take a minute for this new defense to mesh?
I don't like to think about that, knowing that we got the Chiefs the first week, so we don't have time to kind of be on the back foot, going against them first week. But I know out here is where we're going to be able to kind of grind those things out, sharpen the spear, as we say, and make sure that we're ready come week one.
Along those lines, last time we talked to you, you said you got to make sure that all the new guys fall in line. So is you taking charge in that leadership role more important than it ever has been for you in your career?
I think so, but I've always thought, everybody has a chance to lead. Just you have to find your moment. And so, once you're older, those moments come a little bit more than when you're a young guy. But you just have to pick the time and place where those guys are. They need a little.
Come back in 15.
To keep them going or to go.
Nope, you're up.
All right, good stuff for Myles there as he enters year 5 and appears poised for what we hope will be a full healthy season of Myles Garrett. And you got a shot at being Defensive Player of the Year. That's kind of where that is. And I understand Aaron Donald is a generational talent, but I think Myles has got a lot of that in him too. And I think if he can stay healthy and stay on the field, that's in play for him this year with this defense, with what's behind him.
It absolutely is, and not only that, it's with the offense on the other side of the ball. It's going to give leads. It's going to create obvious passing situations, and it's the fact that opposing offenses are going to be focused on Myles, but also have to contend with Jadeveon Clowney, and also have to contend with Takk McKinley, and also have to contend with Malik Jackson, and that he should have, more one-on-ones, I think, than probably he's enjoyed in the past, and the versatility to move him inside, to move Clowney inside. Tack's even had some success rushing from the inside in the past. It allows the Browns, Joe Woods, Chris Kiffin, to move him around and try to create, advantageous matchups, and also just make sure that an offense can't lock their game plan in if he just lined up at left end or right end every single play. That's not going to happen.
No, No, it's not. Still so much more to come on the first day of
So
camp
much.
edition of Cleveland Browns Daily right here on 850 ESPN Cleveland. I mean, let's be honest, folks, in terms of what we're seeing, in terms of it being anything for September, it's very little. Don't mean it's not fun.
That's
it's
right.
a lot of fun.
It's a ton of fun. And right now, the defense is going through their position-specific drills. You've got all the DBs together, the corners, safeties doing their own things. You got the linebackers together, the defensive line together. And then on the offense, they're kind of running through some of their plays against air. But what was pretty cool about what they were just doing is it started with the ones. And the ones ran one particular play. You saw the route combination Odell and Jarvis ran out there together. Then the twos went up, and they ran the exact same play. And the twos, you had Donovan Peoples-Jones and Hollywood Higgins. And then the threes ran the exact same play, kind of all in a row to see it.
Cool.
That was actually pretty cool, and that was Kadarius Hodge and Anthony Schwartz. And I will say two things from far away. Three things. Odell looks phenomenal. And just reiterate it. DPJ from far away looks like a number one receiver, just stature, not saying – again, there's no performance here other than running on air. And the third is that watching everybody run their routes and then watching Anthony Schwartz with the third team, it seemed like 5 yards further downfield than everybody else was at that point in their route because the dude can fly. And it looks effortless.
Well, he's in the short list with Tyreek Hill as fastest players in the league.
Yeah.
30.
But he's going to be. So that's
right.
That's not to say that he projects that way, just saying this from a pure speed.
Right.
That's
Sure.
what you're dealing with from a sprint or speed standpoint. Look, this is going to be a lot of fun. This camp is going to be a lot of fun. This season is going to be a lot of fun, and it all started today. We're excited to be part of the journey with you guys as we document what should be a remarkable 75th season of your Cleveland Browns, and it all started today. We are back tomorrow for more fun. Among the fun, your head coach Kevin Stefanski will join the show live tomorrow, so you have that to